Welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Travel Alert. I'm Steve Glenn.
I'm Paul Glenn.
Hey, we're talking travel today. Paul, we've been at this how many years?
39 years.
39 years with Executive Travel at executivetravel.com. Thanks for joining along with us. And you know, one thing we don't do often enough at the first of this is always do the
like, subscribe, share thing.
Yeah.
So remember to do that.
We need to tell our listeners, our watchers that every Tuesday we send out 100,000 emails to people that have been our customers, our friends, and even the press all around the world. And with a Weekly Travel Alert of usually about 5 or 6 items that are editorialized by me. And then you have on Fridays what goes out?
Travel Week in Review, which is just an overview of kind of the top stories that we've seen through the media in the prior week.
You know, between the Weekly Travel Alert on Tuesday and your Travel Week in Review on Friday, you can kind of get in a matter of about 5 minutes to each one of them, get the highlights of what's going on in the travel business. And Executive Travel is focused a lot on business and corporate travel management. We also have groups. We have the Women of the Midwest ladies only travel. We also have a vacation team. We do a lot of meetings and incentives, don't we? Don't you have a big group going down to somewhere?
Grand Cayman next week.
Grand Cayman. Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of activity in the travel business. I guess we're blessed, Paul, because now the world is moving from possessions to experiences.
Making memories.
Yeah, and the travel business, we're right in the crosshairs.
Yep.
Today on the Weekly Traveler, we've got spring and summer airfares dropping like a rock. Paul, I went online today. I use Google Flights a lot. Do you do that?
That's what I do, yep.
And then for my points, I look at point.me. And so I usually say, what's going on? Are fares going up, going down? I took Google Flights and I checked April, May, June, and July for international fares.
Okay.
And I saw that some really good prices, both coach fares and business class. So we're going to talk about business class in just a minute.
Okay.
But basically, for the last 90 days ago, you and I were going, man, they're high.
Awful high. Yeah, I was looking at, I've got a meeting in Ireland next month, and a business class ticket was over $10,000. So it was the first time I booked myself a coach class ticket going over the water.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's news. Paul Glenn booking coach class over the water, the pond. That doesn't happen. That's like a solar eclipse. Okay. So, but
even coach was $1,700 to get to Dublin.
Ridiculous.
So yeah, I mean it's awful high.
And who came to the rescue?
The points guy,
Mr. Points guy. I found him some British Air first class, using my points, and that's hopefully you'll have an enjoyable time.
Yeah, no, that'll be. I've been a United guy for the last 10 years, so really this year's the first time that I've become non-committal to United. So I did fly Delta last month for a trip, and then this will be a new experience flying KLM, and then I think I'm on KLM coming back, and I'm on British Air going over. So a couple new experiences for me.
Yeah, but actually, I think you're on KLM but you're actually flying Air France metal out of Paris. You're going to love that A350 business class. It's a great experience.
Okay.
Hey, so we're talking about what's going on. 90 days ago, things were expensive, and now we're seeing things start to come down just a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. And then we heard the airlines say, hey, it's softer than we thought.
That's what I think is driving this. I think the airlines finally looked in the mirror, or they were forced to, because it came down to having to do their financial reporting, and they admitted that it's not looking how they were hoping it was going to coming into the second quarter of this year.
And even United Airlines, I think they're mothballing like 21 jets that they were planning on keeping in service. But a lot of the international stuff is still happening.
Still
and that brings us, segues right into our second headline of the Weekly Travel Alert this week, sponsored by Executive Travel. Reads, international business class airfares are the best deal this spring. Paul, this is where I went into Google Flights in April, May, June, and July, and I tested each month and said, what is the lowest priced fares that I can go business class from Omaha
Okay.
to Europe? Most of the European cities, from Rome to Paris to Brussels, all those cities that people travel to. And what I found is $3,500 to $4,500.
Okay, which is good, fair price for what you're going to get for that experience. That's what we were seeing last year.
Yep.
I mean, that was good, and then we got into the fall, and those started climbing.
These
So
went way up.
So we're finally getting back to what we were seeing last year.
So you may want to, even if you're going, I know we've got a trip in November we're going to be working on. We may want to lock those in as long as it's down low. And you know what I grabbed? You won't believe this. This morning I'm going in early April. I'm going to Rome and back. I found my 80,000 miles
Points.
for business class from Omaha to Rome and Rome to...
The direct flight from Chicago to Rome?
Yeah.
Okay, the good flight.
Wow.
Good.
So something's telling me, then I went in on those flights and I found 20 empty business class seats.
Wow.
In April.
In April. So
Yeah.
that's just a week away.
Yeah. So anyway, we're seeing some good news. That's good news for travelers.
Good for the travelers, not necessarily for the airlines.
Yeah. Number 3 on this week's edition of the Weekly Traveler, it reads, you will pay a premium for nonstop and one-stop flights to Europe. So, Paul, what I'm seeing is if you'll do 2 stops, you'll get the great deals. Like that would be like Omaha, Chicago, Chicago, Frankfurt, Frankfurt to Rome, right? And the same coming back. If you do the one stop, Omaha, Chicago, Chicago, Rome, you might pay double.
Yeah, yep. And that's what I saw when I was looking at Dublin. It was going straight from Chicago over to Dublin. And I didn't explore too much about doing the 2-stop thing, but that's definitely something we've done with going to Italy before, is doing 2 stops, and it gets you quite a bit of savings, which, that's why I go use Google Flights, because, it's going to prioritize based on all the different parameters you plug in, and it can give you those 2 flight options that are going to bring significant savings.
Well, and you can still find... what I found is I search now from Chicago. That's the first search I do.
You've done from JFK too.
Yeah, JFK, and I search from those main hubs, because then you can get like a Swiss Air or a Lufthansa or stuff that you'll get over the water, inexpensive, right, to their hub and beyond in business class, or using points, and then you can figure out a way to get that Chicago Omaha flight. You can oftentimes buy that for $200 or $300 round trip. So I don't mind sitting in coach for an hour.
No,
but 10 hours,
even 2 hours and 3 hours. But I wasn't looking forward to 8 hours. So I thank you for those points.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Christmas early.
The 4th item in this week's edition of the Weekly Traveler: we are seeing business travel in the U.S. slowing down this year. And Paul, you have told us several times that with what's going on with the tariffs and consumer confidence in the last 30 days has kind of taken a hit.
Yeah, I really think that we're probably going to see this through at least the summer. I mean, I think, and that's what our team has been looking at is, okay, how do we just wait and see, because there is so much uncertainty. But I think what we'll see is people will get through summer. They'll do their personal travel. That's what we're still seeing is corporate travel's down a little bit, but people are still traveling personally. And then they'll get back into the fall and they'll want to finish the year strong, I think. And they'll have a better idea of what the impacts are going to be. I was just had lunch with my daughter today, and she works for a manufacturing company, and she was saying, I'm having to deal with the tariffs, but they keep saying they're coming in and then they're going back out. So she says, I really don't know what I'm doing, because I don't know what the pricing is actually going to be until we figure out what the reality is. So I think there's still just a lot of people trying to figure out what's our new reality for this.
This uncertainty usually causes business travel to slow down a little bit. Hey, number 5 on this week's edition of the Weekly Traveler, it reads, Executive Travel expands our portfolio with the acquisition of Hotel Fortebraccio in Italy. Paul, big news for our company. We had just acquired a hotel.
Yeah.
And 31 beds, and we're remodeling it into a boutique 31-bed hotel in Montone, Umbria, Italy. Really exciting stuff.
It is. It's a beautiful property, and it sits at the top of this hill, amazing views, and has a nice offering. But to your point, we're going to take it from what I would say is probably a 3-star hotel and try to bump that up to a 4-star, get it a little more contemporary for us American travelers compared to that European traveler.
Well, it's got a spa, it's got a pool, it's got a neat meeting room,
pool,
weight room, all that stuff. Not that I've ever seen a weight room.
And we're actually looking at having a meeting over there.
Yeah.
So exciting for that.
Yeah, and we've got good news in the next couple of weeks. We're doing comparison of having meetings in the U.S. versus having them in Italy. And you're going to be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, of what those things are. This also complements, we have, if you look at villadestinoitaly.com, this is only 200 yards away from it. So we're going to have meetings at the hotel, and then we've got the villa for weddings and
that's what I really think.
VIPs.
I think if you wanted to have a really spectacular wedding, you have that down at the villa, and then the guests go stay up at the hotel, and then you've got privacy for the wedding couple. So lots of opportunities.
Paul, I'm going to tell you a secret. We're going to let our listeners in on this. You can actually do a meeting cheaper in Italy than you can in Charlotte.
Which is why we're looking to do a meeting in Italy versus Charlotte. So It's not a secret anymore.
No secret anymore. Now, the last one reads, if you don't have a global entry pass, the next best thing is a free mobile app when traveling internationally. You can actually get a free mobile app, and it's called the Mobile Passport Control, MPC app by the Border Control, the U.S. government. You can load it up, and then you load your documents, passport, all that stuff, and it's almost as fast as global entry.
Is it really?
Didn't we have Jen Belt and her family come back from Italy, and they used this, and they got through just as fast as Jen did, didn't they?
Yeah, I was surprised actually last time coming back internationally just a couple of weeks ago from Nicaragua. There were no lines anywhere in Customs and Border Patrol.
Was that through Houston?
That was through Houston, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there was not a line.
Well, they've got a big...
Oh, they have a huge queuing area. So I was shocked that it wasn't anything.
So that's... If you're coming back, and if you ever looked at the lines in Chicago, I've had, like, Ann Fulby Olson, who comes over from Greece, she'll stay in line for an hour and a half. Because she doesn't have global entry. She's a Greek citizen, and so with that, or Danish, maybe Danish citizen. So she can't get that, and she just cringes coming through there.
I'm glad with my lack of patience that I don't have to deal with that situation.
Hey, and sometime in April, don't we have a global entry
we do
testing?
Yeah, we do. We'll have to get that out. I don't have the dates in front of me, but I know the 22nd through the 24th. Is that what we're being queued up to? So April 22nd through the 24th. So if you've already been approved on the paperwork aspect of global entry, you'll be able to go in and grab a spot if you want to come in and do the in-person interviews here in our Lincoln office.
Executive Travel down at 1212 O Street, Lincoln, Nebraska. And I'll tell you, I think that's the best investment you'll make in travel.
And if you have a credit card that you pay an annual subscription for, it's likely that that's a reimbursable expense. So I would definitely take a look at that if you have any of these credit cards that tie into the travel related.
Oh, guess what? I just found out that United is no longer going to pay for the, what's the other fast one, the eyeballs. You do
Clear?
Clear.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're going to not include Clear on their paying for their credit card.
For their credit card.
Yeah.
But what if you are their 1K? Because
that's what they're not doing.
The
1K is not paying for Clear.
Interesting. Okay.
It took me a long time to think about that, but... Yeah, 1K membership no longer. You used to get free Clear as part of it. Now it's not going forward after May, I believe.
It'll be interesting to see if Clear sticks around. You got to wonder how many people were paying for that out of pocket versus getting it due to their loyalty programs.
Sometimes the Clear line was longer than the
TSA PreCheck.
PreCheck line. I'm going, why would I pay for this? But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this week's edition of the Weekly Travel Alert. I'm Steve Glenn along with Paul Glenn. Paul, you might tell them one more time how to do the zip boom beam.
Yep, one more time. Please like, subscribe, share, and add any comments or feedback on topics that would be of interest for future episodes. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.